When we watch pilot episodes, character designs, names, and things in the background, more times than not, are a lot different than they are in the final show. So today, let's take a look at some of these pilots and how they differ from the final show. Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide is a Nickelodeon sitcom that first premiered in 2004. It centers around Ned Bigby, along with his two best friends, Cookie and Mose. We watch as the three go through the everyday challenges in middle school. Ned is always putting new ideas in his survival guide, a composition notebook that helps him and his friends navigate through school life as a teenager. Each episode revolved around figuring out problems that we all dealt with in school at some point. Being popular, finding a girlfriend, playing sports, things like that. Ned, Cookie, and Mose, usually through a series of trial and error, would find a solution to their problem. I actually was the perfect age for this show when it came on. I remember seeing Ned write down something new in the survival guide and thinking, yeah, I'm going to try that tomorrow at school. So I guess looking back, it really was helpful to kids in middle school. Ned's Declassified had a solid run on Nickelodeon, running for 3 seasons and a total of 54 episodes. A lot of Nickelodeon fans always looked at this show as maybe not as big as Drake and Josh or Zoe 101, but just maybe one tier under. The show ended when the kids were in 8th grade, and they helped a lot with middle school. But what about high school? Was Ned going to help us out with that too? Well, in 2008, he almost did. Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide ended in 2007, and series creator Scott Fellows wanted to continue the show. He pitched a spin-off series to Nick about Ned going to high school. Around this time, Devin Warkheiser, who plays Ned, wrote a blog updating his fans on what he's been up to since the show ended. He says that he is working on music and that he had a good time presenting at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. Devin goes on to mention that he signed a developmental deal with Nick to do a spin-off show where Ned goes to high school, adding that it's a work in progress, and he will know within the next couple of months if the project is greenlit or not. A few websites like TV Tropes said that a pilot episode was filmed, but it must have tested poorly because shortly after, Nickelodeon decided to pass on the project and rejected the high school spinoff. This was later confirmed in a video by Devin himself. Some people have pointed to the fact that Lindsay Shaw and Daniel Lee Curtis were busy with their new roles in 10 Things I Hate About You and Zeke and Luther for the show not getting picked up. However, I don't think this is the reason, because even though Ned's Declassified had a great run, you have to remember, in the ratings, it was up against mega hit shows like Drake and Josh and Zoe 101. And that's probably why Ned's Declassified didn't continue, but iCarly was greenlit without question. The pilot episode to Ned's Declassified High School Survival Guide has never been released, and it's unknown if a copy still exists. It's very possible that creator Scott Fellows still owns a personal copy. What's interesting about Ned's Declassified is that the original pitch pilot was very different than the show we know today, with the main difference being that Cookie was absent, and in his place was a character named Boogie, played by Stephen Markarian, who we know as Albert Warmenheimer in the show.
Here for a whole new year.
This pilot is said to have aired on Nick a handful of times. After this episode was shown to test audiences, it was clear that a few changes needed to be made, so Daniel Curtis Lee was brought in to play Ned's friend, Cookie. A new pilot was filmed titled Ned's Locker, and executives loved the new version of the show. Ned's Declassified was picked up, and Nickelodeon ordered 13 episodes. The plot of both pilot episodes is unknown. It's probably similar to the first episode, called First Day in Lockers, but that's only a guess. It was rumored that the very first pilot was featured on an Australian DVD release of the show, but Lost Media user Race Olympics acquired this DVD and quickly debunked this rumor, as the episode was nowhere to be found on the disc for years. These pilots remained unseen in any capacity, but finally in 2020, a video of a 2003 commercial break on Nickelodeon was uploaded to YouTube, and in the commercials, we can see some very short clips of the pilot, and finally, some footage of Boogie. Lost Media fans also pointed out online that some stills from the pilot, Ned's Locker, can be seen during the series finale. Nowadays, Ned, Cookie, and Mose do a podcast about the show and have talked about anything and everything behind the scenes. So I'm unsure if any other information about these episodes will ever be given by the main cast. So that leaves one person, Scott Fellows. If you ever see this video, leave a comment and let us know if we can watch the Lost Pilots. The Big Bang Theory is a sitcom that first aired on Comedy Central on September 24th of 2007. It follows two best friends, Sheldon and Leonard. They are physicists at the California Institute of Technology. With their successful careers, you would think life is made, and they have it all figured out. But truth is, their social skills are terrible, and when they are around women, saying it gets very awkward would be an understatement. Luckily, a hot waitress named Penny moves in next door. After they get acquainted, she shows them the fun side of life, especially Leonard. As the show goes on, other characters are introduced as well, and we see some dynamic storylines happen with this group of friends. The first season of The Big Bang Theory was hit or miss with viewers, but from season 2 going forward, fans couldn't get enough of the chemistry between these characters. This series had a fantastic run, going for 12 seasons, producing 279 episodes in total. What many fans of the show don't know is that 2 pilot episodes were filmed for The Big Bang Theory. The first pilot was made in 2006. Leonard and Sheldon were still the main characters. However, everyone and everything else was much different. The main change is that Penny is not in this episode. Instead, there was a woman named Katie. She was a lot different than Penny, being described as very tense, irate, or on the edge. One article called her character tough as nails. Leonard liked Katie, and she would have stuck around, but it just doesn't match like Penny and Leonard. In the pilot, Sheldon is depicted very differently. He tells Katie that he has saw 6 women naked. In one scene, Sheldon is drinking at the bar, much different than the cautious, timid Sheldon that we know. Another character from the pilot that didn't make it into the final show was a scientist named Gilda. She is friends with Leonard and Sheldon, and seems kinda jealous of Katie in the pilot, thinking she will affect their friendship. It's also revealed that Gilda and Sheldon slept together, so maybe in this version of the show, they would have become a couple. 2 fan favorites, Raj and Howard, are missing from this pilot as well. After a screening of this episode, test audiences did not enjoy it. Networks rejected The Big Bang Theory, and it was apparent that the entire show needed a rewrite. Show creators got it done, and the rest is history. Well, almost. According to fans online, there was another pilot of the show that's a little different from the first episode. One person said that in this pilot, Leonard and Sheldon switched roles. This was posted on a Big Bang Theory Reddit thread and caused major disagreements between fans of the show. It's entirely possible that this pilot does exist and is out there somewhere, but I couldn't find any solid proof to support these claims. So the validity of a second pilot is questionable. The 2006 unaired pilot is available to watch online. If you watched Cartoon Network in the late 90s or early 2000s, then you've probably watched Johnny Bravo before. Johnny Bravo is an animated comedy series made for Cartoon Network in 1997. The show was produced by Hanna-Barbera and it follows Johnny, a buff, cool guy who is always looking for a girlfriend, often getting rejected in the most painful ways. In his mind, Johnny thinks he has it all figured out, and you can't tell him any different, but he rarely, if ever, gets a girl to like him. It's always hilarious to watch these scenarios play out on the screen. In the show, Johnny lives with his mom, and almost every day, he is bothered by a young girl from the neighborhood named Little Susie. Another funny character on this show is Carl, who is voiced by Tom Kenny, a nerdy guy who is like Johnny's sidekick. Johnny bosses him around and uses Carl at his expense. Carl is usually just thrilled to be around Johnny because he looks up to him. Johnny Bravo was the second cartoon to become a full series on the network. It was a hit with Cartoon Network fans and had an outstanding run from 97 to 2004, producing 4 seasons consisting of 65 episodes with 179 segments in total. Also, 2 Johnny Bravo specials were made. Before Johnny became one of the most well-known Cartoon Network characters, he was an Elvis impersonator in a short titled Meso Blues. In 1993, creator of Johnny Bravo, Van Partible, was putting together his senior thesis project while attending Loyola Marymount University. It was originally going to be about 3 Elvis impersonators who thought they were rock stars, but because Van was doing a lot of the work himself, he cut out the other 2 and decided to focus on one character. The short film was screened in a theater at the school, and the audience loved it. Meso Blues received a standing ovation. Van Partible's professor showed the film to someone at Hanna-Barbera, and they thought it was fantastic. The studio then asked Van to make Meso Blues into a 7-minute pitch pilot. At this point, Van Partible decided to retool his concept, and Johnny Bravo was created. After the initial screening of Meso Blues, it was never shown to the public. Luckily, 15 seconds of footage is shown in a Johnny Bravo documentary featured as an extra on a Season 1 DVD. Also, a few animation cells were discovered in a YouTube video that was uploaded by the university where it was produced. A few years ago, I reached out to Van Partible via comment on his Facebook page, asking about the pilot. Surprisingly, he responded saying he will never show it. I'm glad we can at least see what Johnny Bravo originally looked like, but it would be pretty cool to watch the short film one day. However, I totally understand if this is more of a personal project, and Van doesn't want the public to see it. The Boondocks is an animated series that first aired on Adult Swim in November of 2005. In this show, we watch the crazy lives of brothers Huey and Riley Freeman as they live with their eccentric granddad. Huey is very smart and aware of what's going on at all times, the type of person you wouldn't want to get into a debate with. He's also very good at fighting, and wins against Riley almost every time. Riley is the definition of always into something. Riley has seen and done it all, from Thugnificent to Gangstalicious. He's very ambitious and loves rap music. This gets him in some tough but exciting situations throughout the show. Their granddad, Robert, just wants to live his life, but the kids always seem to be doing something that gets his attention or gets him mad. The Boondocks was a massive success for Adult Swim, and is one of the best shows ever made. The writing is second to none, and the animation is beautiful. The Boondocks is one of those shows that has very memorable episodes. This show was a mainstay on Adult Swim, but what would it have been like if it aired on Fox? Well, in the early 2000s, we almost found out. Many fans of the show aren't aware that the Boondocks actually started as a comic strip in the late 90s. The characters looked a little different than the designs we all recognize today. The comic was first published on hitlist.com, and after gaining popularity, it was in the Source magazine. Creator of the Boondocks, Aaron Magruder, started pitching the comics for an animated series and to be a syndicated comic strip. This project seemed to finally find its footing as it was published in newspapers, and Fox was interested in making the show. In 2003, Fox ordered a 7-minute pilot for the Boondocks. Development began, and Magruder ran into problems from the get-go. The story he wanted to tell wasn't lining up with what Fox thought was acceptable for their viewers. The Fox network put many limitations on the Boondocks, but Aaron Magruder pushed through development, and a 7-minute pilot episode was finished. Months later, it was announced that Fox rejected the Boondocks. Magruder spoke on this experience in an interview, saying that he tried his best to make a Fox show, but broadcast television is a very restrictive place, adding that it's tough to be funny because there is so much money at stake, and that it's tough to be daring and do something different. In regards to content or even structure, it's really a rigid landscape, and you can honestly see it in the show. After Fox passed on the Boondocks, Cartoon Network was interested in adding the show to their late-night block, Adult Swim. Then Vice President of Programming for Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, Mike Lazo, watched the Fox pilot and said it felt watered down. He told Aaron Magruder that, due to the less restrictive policies at Adult Swim, he would be able to make the show that he wanted to make. Cartoon Network picked up the Boondocks, and this amazing show finally found its home on Adult Swim. Unfortunately, the 2003 Fox pilot has never been available for public viewing until May 7th of 2016, when Boondocks producer Carl Jones posted a short clip online.
I told them you didn't start the fight, but they wouldn't.
It's okay. No good deed goes unpunished.
Thank you.
Oh, hell no! You got a sandwich from that hoe?
For years, this short clip was the only found footage from the pilot until, finally, just a few days ago, out of nowhere, YouTuber The Storyteller uploaded the full Boondocks pilot episode. Now, we can watch the rejected Fox pilot that we've been so curious about for all these years. Once the episode begins, we can see that Huey and Riley look a little different, with the most notable change being their hair. Huey steps on Riley's Air Force Ones, and then we get our first Granddad appearance. I'm glad to hear that he was still voiced by the legendary John Witherspoon, and that he's the same wild and wacky Granddad we all know and love. During the episode, we can hear a radio DJ say that, "I just heard R. Kelly's new hit called Inappropriate." And now, on our Friday double play, here's another one by R. Kelly called Disturbing. It's crazy that 20 years later, R. Kelly is behind bars, and this DJ's comments are more relevant than ever. After a speech by Granddad, we transition to the next scene and get introduced to Tom and Jasmine. Jasmine looks really cool here, and Tom looks about the same. As Tom goes on a rant about how he used to get bullied, Jasmine's mom walks in. Maybe it's the animation style, but she just seems so generic here. Then Huey and Riley are in detention for a fight. Jasmine comes to the window, and then the music plays. Now we can make sense of the 16-second clip that we've seen over and over again. After this, Granddad pays a visit to the hilariously twisted Uncle Ruckus. Ruckus looks a tad different, but not too much, and we can tell by this scene that he was pretty much going to be the same character as here, although he does seem a bit nicer. After a conversation, Granddad decides to leave. When he gets home, we see him and Huey playing soccer against each other on the PlayStation 2. After beating Huey at the game, Granddad tells them to go to bed, and the episode ends. For all these years, We've always heard that this pilot episode is very watered down, but after actually watching the episode, I disagree. It doesn't shy away from using mature language, and almost has the same energy and dialogue that we see in the final show. My Gym Partner is a Monkey is an animated series that aired on Cartoon Network in the mid-2000s. It focuses on a boy, Adam Lyons, who is transferred to an animal school by accident because of the misspelling of his last name, Lion, instead of Lyon. He becomes friends with an eccentric spider monkey named Jake. In the show, they go through school every day at Charles Darwin Middle School. It's fun to see how Adam interacts with the other animal students, and the everyday shenanigans that Jake gets them into at school. In 2003, Tim Cahill and his wife Julie put together a pitch pilot for their show. After showing this to Cartoon Network, the pilot had to be reworked for unknown reasons. So the next year, another pilot was created. Cartoon Network enjoyed the new episode and was ready to start production. My Gym Partner's a Monkey. It's one of those shows where you probably remember it. However, I doubt any notable episodes stick out in your mind. But wait, what about the 2 pilot episodes? Well, for years, the only visible evidence of these pilots was this one image that was reused in a later episode. Luckily, in the recent years, there has been some findings for this piece of lost media. Some early concept art for the show has been found, and also we can see an early logo. It was discovered that a video showing the creators talking about making their show was on Vimeo. In this video, we can see early designs for Jake, and finally, some footage of the original pilot. In these short clips, we can see the characters look a lot different, and the animation looks very rough. After observing these findings, my theory is that Cartoon Network liked the idea, and they then wanted to produce a better looking pilot on their dime. And that's where the mysterious second pilot comes in. The second pilot still remains entirely lost. Even though the original full pilot is unavailable, after seeing these clips, there is no doubt in my mind that the creators still own the pilot. Hopefully, they release it for the show's 20th anniversary. Clone High is an animated sitcom that premiered on Teletoon in 2002. The show is about clones of historical figures, like JFK and Abraham Lincoln. Clone High is kind of a parody to shows like 90210 as they go to high school. Created by Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and Bill Lawrence. The series was first conceived in the 90s when Lord and Miller were in college. It was originally called Clone High School USA. A pilot episode was created and pitched to Fox. They greenlit the show but turned right around and decided not to move forward with it. The show was sold to MTV in 2001 and production began. Clone High was successful until its depiction of Gandhi caused controversy. Hundreds of people in India went on a hunger strike because of this, and the show was quickly cancelled. But what happened to the original pilot of the show? It was never shown publicly. However, it was streamed to a test audience sometime around 2001. We can see some early concept art for the show, but the only visible evidence of this pilot is a single screenshot showing JFK on the phone. It's unknown where this screenshot was captured, but I'm guessing it was shown during an early promo for the show. Drake and Josh is a sitcom that follows teenage stepbrothers, Drake Parker and Josh Nichols. First premiering in January of 2004, the show was a mega hit and became a Nickelodeon mainstay. Drake and Josh are very different from each other. and their plans usually get disrupted by their evil little sister, Megan. Along with their trying too hard dad, Walter, and reasonable mom, Audrey, it made for the perfect dynamic on screen. Even though it doesn't always seem that way, in the end, Drake and Josh have each other's backs, and do care about each other. Before the series went to air, a full pilot episode was shot in 2002, and included some major differences. The most notable difference is that Drake and Josh have a different dad. In this unaired pilot, Walter is played by Stephen First.
Well, we're not breaking up.
We're never breaking up.
As a matter of fact, we're getting married.
Oh, man.
Now it's my turn to kiss you.
Now it's my turn to throw up.
Okay, Megan, we're going out. You be sweet, all right?
Yes, Mommy.
Hey, Megan, don't let Josh and Drake give you a hard time. You know how boys can be.
I'll be okay.
That's my little princess. Good night. No. He's really good. He really is. I taught him everything he knows. Here, I'll show you. Toss me the rock. Come on. Come in.
He is very different than the dad we're used to, and after seeing this clip, I'm not sure how he would have worked in the show. It's said that Steven was busy with other projects when the show was greenlit. Because of this, Jonathan Goldstein was brought on, and ended up being the perfect fit for this role.
Basketball type.
Sure he is. I taught him myself. Here, toss me the rock. Think fast.
Even though this pilot mirrors the first episode, it definitely had somewhat of a different script the first time around. For example, in the 2002 pilot, Drake throws a basketball that hits Walter and knocks him down. In the final version of the episode, Walter catches the basketball and spins it on his finger. Now, this may have played off of the different actors' abilities, but more than likely, it was a rewrite, because the first version of the scene was kinda awkward. This obscure pilot was unseen until 2009, when the creator of the show uploaded a clip from the episode onto his Twitter account. He also posted some screenshots of the pilot, but quickly privatized the video. Thankfully, in 2017, a user on the Lost Media Wiki found the clip and made it available once again. In April of 2022, something totally unexpected happened. Creator of the show, Dan Schneider, made the clips from the unaired pilot available to watch on his channel again. To celebrate the 20th anniversary of the pilot, we still have no new word on if the full episode will ever be made available to watch one day. I really hope so, because it would be a very interesting watch for fans of the show.
I taught him everything he knows. Here, I'll show you. Toss me the rock. Come on. Come in. I taught him myself. Here, toss me the rock.
If you watch the Disney Channel in the early 2000s, then there's a high probability that you used to watch That's So Raven. First premiering in 2003, it focuses on Raven Baxter. Raven isn't an ordinary teenager, as she has visions that allow her to see into the future. Throughout the show, we watch Raven go through teenage life with her family and best friends, Eddie and Chelsea. In her visions, she sees bad things happening to them, and usually, the plot of an episode will revolve around her preventing these things from happening. That's So Raven was a hit show for Disney Channel, and is one of the most well-known shows ever created by the company. 2 years before the show's premiere, a pilot episode was filmed. What's crazy about this episode is that Raven was one of the best friends, and was not the main character. The show was originally titled Absolutely Sidekick. Actress Annalise Vanderpool, who played Raven's best friend Chelsea in the show, gave some new details about the pilot. In an interview with Christy Carlson Romano, Annalise confirmed that Raven was the sidekick and that she auditioned for the lead role herself. She added that the main character's name was going to be Molly, and someone else got the part. Vanderpool goes on to say that while filming the pilot, they realized Raven was the funniest one, and that she had a following, so she was given the lead role, and the show was changed to That's So Raven. Creator of the show, Michael Reyes, confirmed that a test pilot was shot with Raven as the goofy friend, and that test audiences really loved Raven for her versatility and range of funny expressions, leading to the show's rewrite. It's never been confirmed who played the main character in the 2001 pilot. This pilot episode remains completely lost. No footage or screenshots have ever surfaced. While researching this topic, I seen that the director of the pilot, Sean McNamara, was on Instagram, and I decided to reach out about the That's So Raven pilot and ask if he still has a copy. To my surprise, he answered the next day, confirming that the pilot was titled Absolutely Psychic and that he does still own a copy. I did ask if this would ever see the light of day, but unfortunately, he didn't respond. So that question remains unanswered. Even though this pilot is still completely lost, it's good to know that a copy does still exist and is in good hands. Only time will tell if we ever get to watch this. If you watched Nickelodeon in the early 2000s, then chances are you've watched an episode or two of The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. This show was created for Nick after the huge success of the 2001 film about Jimmy. It follows the daily madness of Jimmy Neutron with his friends and family. Often, Jimmy's inventions do the unexpected. Sheen and Carl join in to fix the problem and save the day. The show became a mainstay for Nickelodeon and ran for 3 seasons, producing 58 episodes. Like many other shows, things were a lot different in the beginning. In the 80s, John A. Davis and Keith Alcorn created the concept of Johnny Quasar and put together a script for a pilot episode titled Runaway Rocket Boy. This was the first idea of Jimmy Neutron. Unfortunately, life happened, and this project was shelved. Sometime in the early 90s, John Davis moved into a new house, and when he was moving, he found the early ideas and concepts for Johnny Quasar and decided to pick it up again. Davis decided his idea needed some fine-tuning and reworked the project into a short film titled Johnny Quasar. In 1995, Davis and Alcorn put together a short demo. In this, Johnny introduces himself and his robot dog Goddard. Asteroids are coming towards his ship, and he flies off the screen. This demo has a runtime of 40 seconds, so it's basically a proof of concept. This Johnny Quasar demo was shown at the SIGGRAPH conference and won awards for Best in Show and Best in Character Animation. Seeing that audiences were impressed with Johnny Quasar, John Davis and Keith Alcorn decided to put together another demo of the Boy Genius. This demo was created in 1997, and this time, we get a glimpse of Johnny and Goddard outside of their ship. They then take off and are being chased by aliens. Steve Oldkirk loved the demo, and production began for a pitch pilot. It's been said that the name Johnny Quasar was changed to Jimmy Neutron because it resembled the names Johnny Quest and Captain Quasar. The pilot episode, Runaway Rocket Boy, was produced in 1998. In this episode, we can immediately see some major differences from the final show. First off, Jimmy is wearing a white and red striped shirt. Jimmy's dad, Hugh, seems to be a smarter person and is also wearing a blue suit. Carl is the only friend of Jimmy's to appear in the pilot. His clothes are almost the same, but his face and hair are very different from its final look. The Yokian aliens wear gray suits, and King Goobot is sporting a different colored crown. Also, Jimmy's mom Judy has slightly darker hair. This pilot is very well done, and I'm glad Nick gave this show the green light. The pilot aired on Nickelodeon before the film's release. Luckily, this elusive pilot was added to the DVDs of the show, so fans could watch it whenever they want. Apparently, the Runaway Rocket Boy pilot was going to air on Kablam, but the show was cancelled before this could happen. For years, the Johnny Quasar shorts were lost, except for an 11-second clip showing the first part of the 1995 demo. Luckily, in 2017, the person who voiced Johnny in the demos uploaded the shorts online in full. I'm glad that we can now watch the original concept demos of Jimmy Neutron, but I still wonder about something. So, before the demos were found, we could view the original concept art for the project. In this, we can see the original designs for everyone. Jimmy and Carl are very similar to their final look. However, Cindy and Jimmy's parents look a lot different. Also, we see an unknown basketball player who didn't make it into the show. My theory on this character is that Jimmy already had enough friends, so this basketball player was reworked into Libby, so now Cindy had a best friend as well. All screenshots seem to match up with the 40-second clip, except one. In this supposed screenshot, we can see Johnny Quasar with his parents and Goddard in their living room. After the two demos were uploaded to YouTube, we still don't see any footage of Jimmy's parents' early designs. It's possible that this was just a mock-up, but if it is a screenshot, then there is still some lost footage out there somewhere. Were there any early designs that you like better than the final ones we got? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more Lost Media. Have a great day, and until next time, stay up late productions.